Hey guys, this is the Cog Comp. And today we are going to come at you with some intentionality. Okay.
Yes.
So, what we're going to do is we're going to go into what stops us from growing when we make commitments. Or, like, what are we doing or what do we want to do that we want change in? Okay. But also, like, how are we going to achieve that and how are we going to keep ourselves accountable? How are we going to reach our goals without lying to ourselves or breaking commitments? Okay, because cognitive dissonance starts when we start breaking our commitments to ourselves, even. Like, you can't trust yourself if you are breaking commitments or if you're not even sticking to things that you say, if you're not a person of your word. So you can't even trust yourself. Therefore, you can't love yourself. Therefore, like, you are basically a double minded person.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. And so today we're going to talk about new beginnings and how to not break them, how to keep them, in a sense. Because if you can't trust yourself, then who can you trust?
yep.
So when it comes to discipline, which we've already talked a lot about, self discipline is the biggest way of loving yourself because it's you forcing yourself into a way to listen, where to become the person you want to become. That's basically what discipline is.
Yes. And speaking of that, we're pushing the disciplines of good works another week.
Mm-hmm.
We are still working on some things, but it is going to be life changing. Like, there's some science and there's some Bible. Like, and it literally just, like, fits. And it's awesome. And it literally will
Yes.
change your life if we can apply it, because literally there is a method to the madness. And we have to use the biblical method because that's literally the way to, like, live life. Like, that's literally what we're supposed to do to live a better life. So anyway, we're going to get into this law of intentionality. So the things that stop us from growing are, we're going to go in one by one. So assuming things. So you can't assume that just because you make a commitment, it's going to happen. The same energy that you use to go into a situation should be the same energy that you have when you don't want to do that thing you said you were going to do.
Like, hey, uh, there's that thing you've been wanting to do for a long time. I was trying to think of an example. Like, those dishes need to be done. Okay, you can't just push them off till tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
You, you said you want to start making your bed in the morning. Hmm?
I'm going to get up early and work out.
Ooh, there you go. Okay, for some serious stuff, not just some basic house needs.
I'm going to eat right and lose weight.
Ooh, that's hitting home for somebody right there.
It's about consistency. It's about stability.
Mm-hmm.
It's about being steadfast, having that mental fortitude, because that's what discipline really is.
And and here's another thing to add on to that: people expect the end result right away.
Yep.
So, like, hey, if your New Year's resolution is I want to be healthier, well, one, you have to eat healthier. Two, you have to be prepared to lay down your comforts. If you're not
Yep.
prepared to lay down your comforts to achieve your goal, well, one, that's not discipline, and two, that is making yourself more unhealthy
Yep.
for your comfort. And then people say, well, I just want to live comfortably. Well, like, your comfort is killing you. And and then we also
Facts.
got people who are saying like, "Oh, I'm not here for a long time. I'm here for a fun time or something like that." Or YOLO, you only live once. Yes, you only live once, but guess what? It's life is short, but eternity is long. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And that one time that you get to, like, do that thing is gonna be how you spend the rest of it. Like, you might have fun now, but just imagine that hangover or just imagine that come down, and that's gonna be eternity, except way worse. So as we're speaking to these, because there's seven more, right? The one scripture we're going to be referring to is commit your work to the Lord and your plans will be established.
Mm-hmm.
Proverbs 16:3. So that commit is a commitment. So that doesn't mean if you feel good, your work and you give your work to the Lord, your plans will be established. It means you
Yep.
commit, you make a decision. So speaking about love, love should be a decision because love is a covenant, not a commitment. A covenant is death do you part. If you really want to start loving people, regardless of how they act, and I'm going to be very loose with this saying, you need to love that person better.
So,
Like,
just real quick, you gotta remember there are different ways of love, different communications of love.
yes.
It's, I don't want to go too much in detail, but that's all I'm going to say there because I know we'll have another series that's just all about it.
Yes. So that is like, take that with a grain of salt. Okay. Like, I'm not saying, regardless of everything, to stick things out with people and love them and let them hurt you and destroy you and just make everything worse in your life. But if you make a commitment, you need to stick it out. So don't make commitments with the wrong person. So, anyway, number 2 is going to be the knowledge gap. Learn how to grow. So, first, number 1, don't assume you will automatically grow. There has to be intentional like effort. Knowledge. If you don't know, you need to know. If only you knew then what you know now, would you have made the dumb decision?
Mm. Yeah,
And note
man.
I said decision, not, well, I mean, you could make an emotional decision, but once again, you're double minded, wayward, to and fro here and there, like maybe over yonder and then, out back over here. And then, oh, well, now I'm over here. So you won't ever be in one spot. You won't ever be literally where you need to be because you're going to be in all different places where you should be because you're too busy feeling how you don't want to feel to be where you're not supposed to be because you can't stay committed.
And oh man, that I can help out in a lot of areas of life too.
Yeah.
Some people have commitment issues though, but that's not the area we're diving into today. But
Mm-hmm.
but
So,
learning, there's this one place Bible where it's like if the Lord can trust you in little things, He will trust you with greater things. It was
mm-hmm,
the parable of the talents where this one guy he got a talent and all he did was just keep it safe by burying it in a hole
mm-hmm.
instead of like actually using it because some people invested it, took risks with it, and came back with way more talents. But since this guy was afraid of just losing it, all he did was held on to it,
Yep. So,
which and that was the fear that was keeping him in place.
mm-hmm. So you allow fear to come in because fear, false evidence appearing real. I mean, and everyone knows that saying, but it's false evidence appearing real. So you, in from your perspective, end up getting scared about something, and then you don't want to do it. But it's from a lack of knowledge in a sense because, like, you won't fear something that you know or that you can know. So if you can't understand something, we fear it, right? We fear the unknown, for an example. Well,
Mm-hmm.
fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. So we fear the Lord because we can't understand him, but yet we love and revere him because he is our Father, creator, and maker, and literally will set our path straight. Trust in the Lord, lean on your understanding, and he will set your path straight. I got another one for you. Proverbs 18:15. I know I said I was going to do one, but can't help it. The heart of the discerning acquires knowledge, for the ears of the wise seek it out.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't know, learn. I mean, literally everyone on this planet is capable of learning. It might take you longer than others, but you can learn.
Yeah, and just another thing I
So,
don't fear. You have to remember in life there was a lot of things that you were at least somewhat afraid of at first. Like for
mm-hmm,
some people, like when they first had to go drive a car, getting behind that thing at first is scary for some people. Other people
Yep.
were way more confident with it, but I'm sure a lot of people when they're at that age, like they were like afraid of driving, they were afraid of crashing a car, and and that fear is can be your friend sometimes. Because, for example, fear is going to be the thing that's also going to strive to keep you alive. I know I used this example before, but I'm just going to use it again. If you were in a plane 10,000 feet up in the air and you had to jump, why would you put on a parachute? Fear would make you put
Yep.
on that parachute because you're afraid of hitting the ground at 60 miles an hour.
Yep. And so we've actually kind of stumbled into something and not even realized it. So basically, the assumption gap, when you assume things, you're basically operating in a comfortable feeling or a feeling where you expect things to happen. So you're entitled. And then the knowledge is based off of fear. So you fear because you don't know, right? If
Mm-hmm.
you knew, you wouldn't fear. If you could understand it, you could comprehend it. So we're operating out of emotions when we're getting into these gaps or ways that stop us from growing or staying committed. So the next one is timing. This one is basically to be still. Even there is scripture that says, "Be still and know that I am God." Wait patiently. Every fruit has a season in its own time. I mean, I feel like that's everything for that one. So the
Yeah.
mistakes, okay? We have to forgive with mistakes, and we do need to learn. That one has, some of the fear behind it. I mean, we need to be humble, and we have to have awareness. So now, in order to combat all of these, so far, we literally have fighting complacency, fighting entitlement, fighting comfort. We have fighting fear. We have fighting the ability to not be patient. Then we have fighting an ability to be prideful or fighting a lack of self awareness. Because ultimately, you need to really be aware of God, but you also need to be aware of God, but so that you can be aware of yourself.
Yeah.
Because if you are aware of God and you're aware of yourself, you know that you're actually capable of way more than you even understand. So now we have the perfection one. You need to find the best way, but not before you start. Do it, and as you do it, you will learn. It's more about progress, not perfection.
Oh, and
Increment,
there's an important
yeah.
one.
So 1% daily. If you learn a new word and you retain that new word daily, you'll learn how to speak a different language.
Mm-hmm.
If you pick up a skill and you do that skill over and over again, it's about repetition. A baby, when it's learning to walk, doesn't stop until it learns.
Right. Because
You keep going.
mhm. Because when a baby is like trying to learn English, it ain't like you're going to like constantly tell the baby to do its ABCs. You know, it ain't like
Yep.
you're going to constantly tell it to like, oh, recite this one word. No, he's going to learn it by taking action of it and by going through it and speaking it, by
Yep.
attempting to speak it, by trying to do it. Because he sees
And
everybody else around him's doing it.
yeah. And with this one, I get frustration. A frustration and probably uh self-worth, maybe, because things have to be perfect. You have to do the very best at all times, or it doesn't mean anything. And if you don't, you get frustrated and you basically become the identity of the work you do. Hold on. Take away, Travis.
Okay. Well, you know what? I was just looking for the where it was at where if you seek me, you will find me. Oh, what you will seek, you will find. But okay. Oh, no, I was trying to find seek first kingdom. But thing is, so you mentioned a little bit ago, you seek and you shall find. Over here in Matthew 7:7, keep asking, seeking, and knowledge. Ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and it will be open for you.
Yep.
So what you seek, what you look for, you will attract. Kind of thing. It. I think we tend to overcomplicate certain things. Like for example, the Bible. I think we tend to overcomplicate a lot of the aspects of it. Yes, there's a lot of spiritual meanings. Yes, there's a bunch of cross references back and forth. But we gotta remember the simplicity of the gospel. Like the gospel, simple. Let's not overcomplicate that. The rest of the Bible, you want to know all the detail, nitty gritty details, just that will get complicated. But here it says, seek and you will find. Keep asking, seeking, and knocking.
Yeah. You got to keep doing it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So
So,
the next, well,
just real quick, I'm going to tie that in with the New Year goals because if you keep on doing it, if you
okay.
keep on seeking, if you keep on just like, let's say your New Year's goals is like getting closer to the Lord, you keep on seeking, you will find. Keep on,
Yeah.
basically, keep on repeating it. Basically, rinse and repeat. Just keep on going after it, and you'll find it.
Yeah. I mean, literally, we've changed so much in this past year. Like,
True, John.
we still have the videos up now. So go look how cringe we were like a year ago and see how much better we've gotten. I mean, literally the whole display, how we do the approach now, uh, you know, you know, it's just everything, right? Like
I, I was
now,
watching the past ones. I was telling myself to shut up because I can explain it so much better now.
yeah, I had to delete some of them of mine. I was like, oh my gosh, it looks so weird. Oh man. So anyway, number 6, the inspiration. So get motivated. Action precedes feeling. Control what you focus on. So that literally stated it. You sometimes you have to do something to feel a better way. Like so, ice baths specifically suck before you do them because you know it's gonna suck. Then afterwards, you feel way better. Like
Yeah,
it's so healthy for you. Eating better is healthy for you. Literally living a better life is better for you, but it sucks and you don't feel like doing it until you do it. Then you feel better. Even then,
yeah,
afterwards, when you know you got to do it again, it still sucks until you get like literally so deep into it that it just becomes second nature, right? Because
yeah.
you have to change your personality, your characteristics. And first off, you need God and you need to get his word in you to do it right. And you need to be able to have that support in that instance because you
Mm-hmm.
can't will everything into existence. Like, this isn't just like no one, like maybe one person out of a billion can do that. Like, I'm just saying, like, or if you're just extremely stubborn and like I don't know, it takes a completely different kind of person to do that. But just
Yeah.
imagine if you have a balance of everything,
Mm-hmm.
like all of it, because then you get the fruits of the spirit. Like
Right. Yeah.
if you don't have the Holy Spirit, you won't have the fruits of the spirit.
Yeah. And also, well, and the thing you mentioned about ice baths, like it's healthy. Like you don't need to sit in there for like an hour. No, just 5 minutes. And if
Yeah.
you're not able to do an ice bath, and if cold showers are too much for you, try taking a cold bath, man. Because let me tell you something. It's like think about it like as if you were like jumping into a cold pool.
Mm-hmm.
After a while, you're gonna get used to it. But let me tell you something. It still equally sucks.
Or or even do this because you can do it on accident, or you can actually do it with intention. Um, Turn on the actual shower part and make sure the water's on extreme cold and then get in thinking that you're setting a bath up or something and then turn the water on and then just be surprised when the water hits you and you're like, oh my gosh, like, you know what I mean? Like that, I'm just saying that's happened sometimes, not intentionally. And, it sucks, but hey, you know, you learn.
Yeah.
You know what I
Oh,
mean?
yeah, yeah. And here's the part I forgot to mention. I feel way better after it. It's like I don't know, it's just like something about like those, like dude, I can't go back to a hot shower anymore, dude, because
Yep.
I just feel so like drained after it.
Bro, I mean, well, it's nice to use
Yeah.
both because heat actually does help as well.
Well,
It has
yeah.
benefits.
But
But
I mean, just like I used to go just basically pure heat, okay?
yep,
And by the way, when your body experiences that hot water, it actually ends up killing your skin cells. So when you do
yeah,
the cold, lukewarm or cold shower, it is better for the skin. So it helps with I
yeah.
think it's better for hair and nails and stuff.
So also real quick, I kind of want to back up here a little bit. So at number
Okay.
4 on the mistakes, like you need to realize that everything's in God's hands. So when you make a mistakes
Mm-hmm.
or make a mistake, you need to learn from it because like ultimately God, like it's in God's hand. God will take care of things, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then for the perfection, like uh you need to be you need to use that patience that you got within the timing because you know, like motion is for the body, stillness is for the mind.
Yes.
So really it helps you. And even being in the ice bath, it helps you slow everything down and control your emotions and control your thoughts and actually specifically intentionally like focus on things, and it helps
Mm-hmm.
you come into a different state of mind and really actually come into the awareness, and you can start focusing on the right things.
Yes.
Break out of those old thought patterns and those old emotions of like everything that you were. Like I know honestly, like literally we're sitting here talking about ice baths and changing ourselves and all that crap, but like bro, this is so important that
Yes.
like this isn't just like, oh, okay, all right, these guys are talking about self-help and
Oh,
growth and development and oh my gosh, they're gonna change their life. But what have they done to actually show it? Well, you do it by doing
well,
things
yeah.
daily different.
Yeah. And things we're not just going to tell you to go, oh, go to your mirror and say that you love yourself 10 times every single morning, okay? It's it's like that helps because like you're giving yourself a better representation of yourself in your own mind. But it becomes more than just that. And another thing about ice baths and how that also helps, or cold showers, etc., is that it puts your body on high alert. And when your body is on high alert in a low alert situation, it's just your body's freaking out to the cold water. It actually helps out with stressful situations so you can make better situations. And to add on to point number 4, they're about making mistakes.
Yes.
Because I'm someone who used to be like a perfectionist. Okay, I still kind of am without like things being like really good. But when you are like a hardcore like perfectionist, then you have this high self high image of yourself to where it's like, oh, I can't do anything wrong or else I'm gonna beat myself up over it. That's an unhealthy relationship with yourself. Because having love
Yes.
for yourself is not holding yourself high on a pedestal to where if you make a tiny mistake, you're the worst person ever. No, you. This is something I had to learn because I used to have a terrible relationship with myself until I got delivered. Man, because
Yeah. Well, I mean, even
self
as a
hatred is
perfect
a real thing and people kind of promote it, and I wear this like thing on the. I'm sorry to cut you off there, but
you're good. You're good, bro. I do it a lot, so
yeah.
I don't mean to. I don't mean to. I'm working on it, you know what I mean? Like,
Okay, well, shut up then. So, so
get it, man. Get it. That's what I'm talking about. There's that confidence. Say it with your chest, man. Say it with your chest.
yeah.
We're probably blowing people's speakers up right now. Like, get going, guys. Quiet down, man. It's just a podcast. Like, but yeah, bro. So like, as a perfectionist, like they can also be critical. You can be critical of yourself, and
Mm-hmm.
then you're gonna like literally do everything and be critical about it. Like you're
Yes.
critical of yourself because it has to be perfect. So you're gonna make other people
Mm-hmm.
like it has to be perfect.
And I feel like this also like this stems. I feel like this stems from how people grow up. Because if you
Yeah.
grow up in a, let's say, a unique environment, huh? I'm not going to say bad, but if you, I don't know what would cause this, but I know there is something because how you grow up affects a lot about how you're
Oh
going to
yeah.
live. Because it's basically just all that stuff that's just like pushed to the back of your mind that you don't even know about. So
Yeah.
it one thing that is very important is having a relationship with yourself. And if there's a New Year's resolution that you need to have, I would say one, put God, seek God. If you're already a Christian, already doing that, then I would put this: love yourself. Because if you can't love, if you don't know how to love yourself, if you don't know how to love the Lord, how can you love others?
Yep. And I'll
And
put
that
it to
is
you like
going to be
this.
some. Mm.
You're good. You're good. Sorry.
Oh, and that's something we want to talk a lot more about for later
Yeah.
on.
There's that interrupting thing that I don't mean to do, but you know, it just happens.
No, I
So,
think I can just keep you
hey,
muted. So
rude.
Oh,
All
don't worry, I
right,
can cut you out of here.
can you share this on Facebook or at least send me the link on my thing so I can send it to someone they want to watch. Just
uh,
send me the link or whatever. Okay, so real
uh,
quick, I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep going so we can stay into this. But anyway, back to number 6 that we're on right now. So anxiety. That tends to give bad motivation. It's what we're talking about right now, the inspiration of it. So if you are anxious, it's going to lead to bad motivation. You want to be motivated, but you need to be motivated to do the right thing. And when you're anxious, you're going to be in a rush, or you're going to have a lack of that right motivation that you need to stay determined long term. Um, so that's just something that you need to keep in mind when you're trying to do something long term and stay it, make a difference, and be a different person. So, literally, we all know people and they have a personality, they have their characteristic traits, they were raised a certain way. Well, you can become different. You're one choice away from doing something completely different. And if you do that one thing multiple times over and over again, that becomes
mhm,
something that you no longer want to
yes,
do or do. So, how many times can you do
yes.
that over and over again to change who you are to who you want to be?
Oh, I have a perfect example of this. This is something I've heard a lot. Like when you're introducing somebody to like Christ or like something in the Bible, different. It's like when they said, "Oh, but I grew up Catholic, so I can't do that." No, that's them glorifying like the church they grew up in. That's them like going back to their past as an excuse. Just
Yep.
because it happened in your past does that mean you need to hold on to that for the rest of your life as an excuse. Like
Yeah.
I'm just gonna be blunt, honest here, okay? Back in
Yep.
2012, okay, I lost a lot of my family. Okay, I watched two of my grandparents die right in front of me. I witnessed my sister's death at the same time. Okay, and now I'm let me tell you something that hurts. Okay, but I'm not
Yeah.
carrying that along with me for the rest of my life. Like
Yeah.
yeah, yes, it will be there. Yes, that has forever happened, and and yes, that has changed me.
Yeah.
But
You got to
that
use that.
yes, because when it comes to pain, it can affect you one of two ways. You can either become more bitter or you can get better.
Yeah.
Because let me tell you something, I could have been angry at the world at that time. I I could have been like, man, the world owes me. Let me treat everybody like crud. But no, or
Yeah.
we can build to be better. Like, okay, this has happened. I can grow from this. I
Yep.
don't need to be this depressed person. Because a lot of people that would break them. Okay, like that
Yeah.
right there. That is not an easy thing to take. That is not a light load to happen to somebody, especially to a
Yeah,
child.
dude.
Okay, because I was a kid. I was like 10. So
Yeah.
so that integrates into childhood trauma right there. And and
Dude.
and when things happen as a kid, that I think it's almost amplified. When things
Yep.
happen to you as a kid, I feel like it does one of two things. One, it amplifies stuff, and two, it suppresses other stuff.
Yep.
So it really depends on how high of the meter it is. But
Yep.
when you experience something like, oh by the way, the thing I mentioned all happened within a 1 year span. Okay, so that was not,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, bro. And man, I know so many people relate to that too. Cause like, dude, that sucks, man. Like, and then even how the people respond around you in that time, like, if you don't have the right people, man, you could just get worse and worse,
Oh,
because like that's the thing, dude. Like our memories, okay? Like we
ugh,
believe things and we even like distort it to validate what we actually believe. So
yes.
there's a negativity bias and there's a positivity bias. Obviously, you
Mm-hmm.
want to stay in your own comfort sometimes, but that's why we need to intentionally apply pain, suffering, sacrifice, and uncomfortability because of the fact that comfort is literally the enemy of the cross. Jesus said, carry
Mm-hmm.
your cross and follow me. So
Yes.
we need to face these things that hurt and they suck and even
Mm-hmm.
readdress things from the past that we think happened a certain way. Because if we're addressing something thinking that we're right, I mean, you already lost the battle.
Mm-hmm.
You
And
have to be.
and let
You're
me
good.
add on real quick, okay? So especially being a man. So after all that happened, so yes, having the right people around you is key. It's crucial. After that, I
Yep.
spent a lot of my life on Xbox, meeting. Let's just get into a lot of friend groups. I was being a social butterfly to fill that void in my heart. But
Yeah.
but at that time, when it came to everybody like coming around, a lot of people told me to stay strong for my mother. I think there
Mm-hmm.
was only one person that asked if I was okay. But afterwards, my mom tried to take me to counseling. And the thing is, like, the counselor said I was fine. I have autism, so so at that time, I had a difficult time processing that emotion. That emotion came to me, but I didn't know how to handle it. So I just didn't show it.
Yep.
So a lot of people just told me to stay strong, and what that did was that put me into this mindset where it's like, okay, I gotta be a man. I can't show pain. I can't do this. I can't do that. I have to be strong. I can't show like sadness emotions. There's been times in my life where it's like, well, how can I be depressed if I don't have emotions?
Yep.
And
And how do
and
and how
that's
do we handle that? Oh, sorry, you're good,
exactly.
bro. You go.
And that's when you try to get into this what performance mindset. Well, not yeah, kind of performance, but perfection. That was the word I was looking for.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to perfectionist, I think mine's stemmed from my childhood right there.
Yeah,
And
that's deep, bro.
and
Because,
oh yeah,
bro, because that's a lot, man. We get like, I mean, as a kid, that's a lot to ask. And then
oh
even
yeah,
how do you handle something that you don't know how to process? And what if you can't handle it? It literally just comes out of you in all kinds of different ways.
of course,
That can come out in negative ways,
yeah,
because like if we bottle things up, like hurt people, bro. Like you're constantly
yeah,
hurting people and you don't even know why you're hurting people because of the fact that like you remember a memory wrong because of the beliefs that you have. Like
yes,
literally half of our memory is wrong and we only remember what we do remember sometimes because of the way we feel or the way we think and believe. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
like I mean not saying that that's wrong what you had. I'm saying that like you have to deal with those things because then you got to start questioning yourself like looking for different reasons or different meanings to things that can be positive or gratitude or like you know edifying, building up, because that's how we get over it. That's how you break that connection of that nerve of that thought and that emotion so that you can grow and be a better person. Because if you're tied to the past constantly, you're just going to be in death. You're never going to be who you actually are meant to be, which is why you have to stick to commitments and resolutions because you're going to experience things that make you feel and think a certain way that maybe you need to grow out of. That's literally what maturity is all about. Maturity is about becoming better and growing deeper and doing what you're supposed to do, not just being responsible and holding to beliefs that you've always had because someone always told you to do it.
maturity is yeah, it's like it's basically. I feel like it's having a revelation, going deeper because when you meet people that are not mature, they tend to act childish,
Yep.
and people tell them to mature. It's basically telling them to grow up. What does grow up mean? It means to, I guess it means to learn, have more wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
Because mature, I don't know. This is something I'm going to dig more deeper into.
Well,
But
so
yeah,
so growing is technically growth, right? So
yes,
you have to take in nutrition. You have to break out of old comforts. You have to break into new things. So that requires pain, suffering, sacrifice, and accountability. Now it's
yes,
easier said than done because growth and to grow requires change.
mm-hmm.
Well, if you don't want to change and you like being comfortable, then you're constantly going to have things that you need to grow out of. But if you don't want to do that thing, you're going to be stagnant. If you are stagnant, that means you're dying daily.
Yeah, because
Energy that does nothing dies. You have to flow. You have to keep moving. But that doesn't mean you can't stay still and keep moving at the same time because what stillness, what movement does for the body, stillness does for the mind. So, food for thought.
yes,
Anyway,
well,
number 7. Did you want me to pause real quick, Trev?
well, it's making me think of the scripture in Hebrew real quick where it says, "I die 1,000 deaths a day." I just
Mm-hmm.
want to see if I could find that place real quick.
Okay.
And
So
Hebrew, like,
while
I'm gonna try to.
while we're waiting on you to do that, number 7 is about comparing. Everyone has their own journey, and you have to be happy and celebrate other people's success. That's what keeps you grateful. That keeps what you appreciative. That keeps you out of entitlement. It keeps you out of jealousy. It keeps you out of a bitter heart. It keeps you out of just resentment and unforgiveness and all these things. Because if you're selfish and you can't like appreciate other people, once again, that's not showing love, you know? So we really have to not be worrying about other people while we go through our journey, but that doesn't mean we can't support, love, encourage, be kind, be gentle, and at least show the fruits of the spirit. You know what I mean? But if you can't be whole within yourself and the way you treat people, that's probably something you need to look at, because literally how you treat others is what you think about yourself. So the more crappy you are to people, the more crappy you are to yourself. You just probably don't deal with it.
Right, yeah.
Drop the mic. And then number 8 is a deep one. You think you found it, Travis, or no?
Yeah.
So,
Okay, yeah. I'm not finding it. Okay, let's continue.
Okay. Do you have anything to say about comparisons to other people?
Well, when you compare yourself to others, I consider that a bad thing because now you're like trying to say, man, I'm so bad because this lady's so much higher than me. Let's take who's a famous person, Charlie? Let's take Kim Kardashian. Okay, she's a famous person. Look, I think so. Okay, Justin Timberlake, he's a famous person. I think, yeah. When you compare yourself to somebody like those high people, it's like, man, I'm not good enough because this person has 1,000 million followers in comparison to them. So when you compare yourself, you're putting yourself like down all the way down here on like this low pedestal. When in reality,
Bro,
it's not about fame. It's not about like who has more followers on Instagram. It's not about who made more movies. Okay.
like at what point, okay, and I want to go back. I want to use this question too right now. At what point do you start or stop realizing that you create your life? Like when do you start or when do you stop to realize that you create your life? You do what you do because you believe what you believe and you value what you value. You do what you value. If you don't do it, you don't value it enough. And if you're comparing yourself to other people and telling yourself or others that you're not good like someone else or that they're not good enough like someone else, you're just showing how very little you value yourself. Because of the fact that we treat other people the way we think and we treat ourselves.
That's why you need to love
So
yourself. If you can't love yourself, how can you love others? If you can't
we
love
are
yourself, how
literally,
you can love God?
yeah, we're literally all meat suits on this planet. Like,
Yeah.
no one's perfect. No one is better than anyone else. We just maybe achieve things differently and maybe at
Yes.
a different level.
And when I say love others, I mean I mean love them with intentionality, not love them with feelings.
Yes.
Because loving with feelings leads to lust. So
Mm-hmm.
remember to love one another, not to
Ooh.
lust, which is something that
And
gets really confused in today's day and age because Hollywood does this romanticizing thing of love, making it like, oh, this is all joyous, great feeling. No, love is goes way more deeper than that.
yep. So don't confuse love with pleasure. Also, if you choose to love from emotion, that's what leads to brokenness. And that's what leads to like heartbreak. So
Mm.
emotions are good to use as a guide, but emotions aren't good to buy a vehicle with. Emotions aren't good to make a lifelong decision with someone, or even to decide something in someone else's life and affect that person that is going to mess up their entire life. Or even, I'm speaking from experience here because I've done this. Right, like I've moved past
Mm.
it, I've grown, and I don't got to beat myself up like a dead horse or anything, but like when you hurt people or you change people's lives because you choose to do something stupid because of something you felt or the lack of something you felt because you wanted to fill a void, rut-row. Like, bro, I mean, that's some crap. Like,
Dude,
that's some
yeah.
straight bull dookie right there. Bull dookie. So that brings us out of comparison. So now we have assumption, knowledge, timing, mistake, perfection, inspiration, motivation, comparison, and last one, expectation.
Okay, now that's a lot of things you just said there. Okay, so
Yeah, no, they can pause it. I mean, well, actually, we're on live. They can go back and rewatch it. I mean, or we'll just put it in the comments for them. You know, we'll help them out.
just double tap the left side of the screen there.
All right. And share, comment if you think we're dumb. Say it. Don't care. If you think
Yes.
it's cool, that's awesome. I love you. If you think that someone else could get something from this, you know, like don't be stingy. Share it, man. Like, you know, sharing's caring, bro.
Yes.
So expectation gap. We got to go into this one. So keep your expectations on the hope of faith and delivered promises. What? Did you have something to say, by the way?
Well, no, no.
Are you sure?
I was gonna make a joke about the 0 people we have watching the live stream, but then I'm like, oh, well, it's not needed. But now you had to ask me if I was sure. Okay.
We need to go back and like edit like small violins playing like 0 people watching. Oh my gosh. It's cool because people are gonna watch it and they're gonna laugh. And then they'll see the shorts and then they'll be like, man, that's an awesome short. I should probably go watch the video. Like oh wah, wah, wah. Okay, expectations. Keep your expectations on the hope of faith and delivered promises. So I'm going to say this. Without hope in our lives, then you have nothing. There's nothing to live for, I would say, because if you don't ever hope in something, you literally have no will or desire or even aspiration, or there is nothing that will keep you pursuing your life. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I hope because I have a child. You know, I hope in my God. I hope because hoping is a promise. Hoping is a future. Hoping means that it's not null and void in vain and literally worthless or useless. And as a Christian, you can't be a Christian without hope because you have to have faith in order to have hope.
Yeah.
And I got to find this right now. Dadgummit. Talk, Travis.
So, hope.
Well, expectation. What about expectation?
Okay, so when you set your expectations too high, that can often lead to disappointment. But the thing is but when you set your expectations too low to where you just don't care about anything, that could be a bad thing too. So, so me and Charlie were talking about expectations earlier. So when it comes to expectations, you really want to have a situational version of expectation. Because if you set it too high, well, guess what? Yeah, that's you risking yourself disappointment. But if you can keep that like a happy medium, like hey, that's not going to be too bad. Because if you're faced with disappointment, it gives you like the joy of your emotions. Be like, man, I can like expect for this thing to come at this certain time. That's where my expectation is set. So, yeah. But when you set it too low, then it's like, oh, well, if it comes, it comes. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It's just a funny thing with how your emotions work and how you want to treat it with that. Please tell me I don't need to talk anymore. I'm like,
You're good, bro.
running out of breath. Okay, good. All right, I don't think I can remember
Ramble,
more.
ramble, ramble. Ramble, ramble. Ramble, 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 ramble. Oh, back, Betty. Ramble, ram.
Stop! No, copyright! Copyright, Charlie!
Ramble, ramble, bamble.
Hey, turn around.
Okay.
Just look at that thing behind you real quick, okay?
So
he saw that.
We have both. Hold on. Let's show it to the people in the back. Next time we will show it to the people in the back. Dead. Okay, so I never found it, and we both need some organization here because we both tried finding things that we didn't have. So, but I will say that. So faith leads to love, and hope leads to faith, but faith leads to grace, and we are saved through faith by grace.
Mm-hmm.
So that's basically what I was looking for, and I wanted to say it right, but I think I did. So anyway, we can't have false expectations from a limiting belief or a false belief, because if we expect something to happen that doesn't happen, like, we end up getting let down. That leads to disappointment. That leads to being let's see, what's the word? When we get upset at someone, I forget. Offended.
Um,
Oh, offended. So
Offended.
disappointment. Yeah, disappointment leads to offending,
Yeah.
and then when you have offending, like, you just, like,
Are you talking
you're
about
hurt.
resentment? Yeah.
Yes, resentment too. So
Yeah.
offense, disappointment, busyness, and materialism. That's kind of what I was getting at. So,
Yeah.
keeping us out of like the things we need to be in. But we need to anticipate with hope an expected future. So we're going to lightly touch about something we're going to do on next episode, but this is why it took so long, because this, like, video that we're working on is absolutely amazing. I feel like I will let y'all be the decipher of that if we have anyone watch it. Take them 0 followers. But anyway, like, you need to expect something in the future, because if you don't expect anything in the future, you literally can't operate in love or wholeness. That's the whole point with hope. Like, hope is so that important, because it, like, literally, and I'll lightly touch on this because I know we're probably going long and we're rambling now, ramble. But
Yes.
but legit, in your mind and in your body, you can actually experience something just by envisioning it and closing your eyes and thinking of something and literally creating a connection with it, so that you can expect and anticipate a future that is hoped for. And I'll literally say this again. So Hebrews 11:1, right? I think it's Hebrews 11:1. Faith,
Yeah.
faith is the
Is.
substance of things hoped for and the
Yeah.
evidence of things unseen.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to have a hope, and we have to be envisioning our future and the promises that God calls us to be, because if we don't have none of that, we can't have grace, because it stems from hope and faith. We literally believe through hope and faith. Like, anyway, that is the last part of that, I will say, and that is the intentionality we need to have coming into this new year, into a resolution, a strong commitment to
So
change and do better.
now, if you want to get healthier for the new year, let me tell you about our partnership, Charlie. I mean, Bravenly.
Yes. So if you're wanting to be healthy, we, some of us need vitamins, some of us need supplements, some of us
Mm-hmm.
have crappy diets. And
Yes.
with
Me.
that, we need a better nutritional plan. We need to
Mm-hmm.
give our body what it needs, especially if we're going to be intentionally applying pain, suffering, sacrifice, and uncomfortability, because that means we're going to work out. That means we're going to do things that sucks. That means we're going to be, masochists in a sense.
That's
Joking. No,
so
joking. We're not
you.
masochists. But we're basically inviting these things to grow and be better, and
Yes.
to be better people.
Yes.
Uh,
So, and these guys have amazing vitamin stuff that you can put in your drinks. And being healthier, if you want to get skinny for the new year, well, guess what? It's
mhm,
not just about eating salad, because all you're doing is just feeding yourself rabbit food, and all that is going to do is just make you hungrier later. So
mhm.
instead you need to find out what's the right amount of calories you need to take in, and I would recommend working out at the same time.
Yep.
But Bravenly, they have amazing vitamin supplements that you can pills or and stuff that you can mix in your drink. Like they
Yeah.
they have
Smoothies,
things that are like, yeah, oh yeah, yeah, things you
teas,
mix
all
your
that.
smoothies, coffee, water,
Teas.
anything. Mm,
So, and with that also, like, you can't starve yourself, because you need nutrition, and it's all about protein, like, legit all about protein. It's more about muscle mass than
yes.
anything. But even for like women, y'all need a fat content, and y'all need to be, someone healthy, because y'all
Mm-hmm.
don't have as much testosterone as men do. So you can't grow as much
Yes.
muscle. So you need good nutrients that your body can feed on. I mean, even they have
Mm-hmm.
collagen for your hair and the beauty side of it, and literally for your skin and everything. But that's
Yeah.
why you should take a bath too, because that's good for your skin.
Yeah, good for your hair too.
It might not be as easy as applying moisturizer and whatever you use or taking a collagen gummy or whatever, but
Yeah.
it helps. I mean, you don't want wrinkles, right? Just saying. I mean,
Right?
so yeah. Anyway, I want to say one thing real quick. This is kind of a quote, and it's by Michael Jordan. So just saying. Some people want it to happen. Some wish it would happen. Others make it happen. What
Mm.
happened are you? What's happened with you?
Hmm.
Do you want it? Do you wish it? Or are you going to make it happen? That was corny, but you know, peace. We'll see y'all on the next Cog Comp episode.